What's up, homie?
Last hour, we talked about dude wipes. And for those that don't know what a dude wipe is, it's a wipe that men use to keep their junk fresh and clean when it's not so fresh and clean around them. Why I'm starting the show talking about that? There's been a heat dome around all of the countries, and not on the coast, but most of the inner landlocked part of the country. For those that don't know what a heat dome is, it's a weather phenomenon where high atmospheric pressure traps hot air over a region, causing extreme and prolonged heat. You don't want any of that in your junk area, so definitely keep that keep it nice and cool. And while we're on the subject of hot heat and unbearable temperatures, something like hail conditions.
Ooh.
Did you hear that Hulk Hogan died?
Bro, yeah, I did hear that. Cardiac arrest.
That's 50 years taking steroids. That'll do to you.
Allegedly.
Is it allegedly?
No, it's not. He actually admitted to it. He said everybody was taking them back in his day. He said everybody. He said all pro athletes, wrestlers, hockey players, football players, baseball players, said everybody was taking them. Now,
I will not stand for a lot of the stuff that comes out of Terry Boyella. Am I saying his name right? It's not important anymore. I will not stand for a lot of stuff that comes out of his mouth, but I would not allow him to besmirch the good name of actual athletes. You keep that steroid allegations to you and your brethren, good sir. But
you don't think all of them was using steroids back then?
All? No. Was there an atmosphere for using enhancers? Sure. Everybody did uppers, what they say back in the day in Major League Baseball. I'm sure, I'm sure there was some needle exchange program in the NFL, but
yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, very, very crazy. But for him to just say, you know what, I did it because everybody else is doing it. No, you did it because you wanted to do it. Be a man. Stand on your own 2 feet. Well, he can't do that anymore, but
oh, you're being kind of insensitive, Pay, and that was your guy right there, 47. That was his guy.
I'm being insensitive. I don't know if you on the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of his death, 10 years to the day, I think he defeated any insensitivity I could ever say. So
when he did what? I mean, school me.
Oh, well, this is, I mean, I don't know how we put it on here.
How do I say this without upsetting my algorithm? Let me see.
Yeah.
So there was a time.
Well, he has a daughter. We'll start about this. He has a daughter.
He has a daughter, right?
And let's say that he would only want his daughter to hang out with one of the three of us. And he said that in probably the most crass way you could.
And the most hard R, in the most hard R way you can ever say.
The most hard R way possible, yes.
Triple down on those hard R's. Where my friend, he said brother. He said it's in the same
tone. It was wild. It was recorded at his house. It was wild as hell.
That was a thing. Okay, well, that explains why I saw this earlier.
It sure does. It sure does.
He showed up to the Pearlies and got a rude awakening. Hey, that's why I said, That's why I said, speaking of hell, let's start talking about, good old Hulk Hogan, where he was spending the rest of eternity. Also, and I don't mean to belittle anything or take a talk. I'll try to besmirch his effect on sports and sports entertainment, because he was a very popular, very enigmatic personality for the World Wrestling Federation during his era, right? I think he, other than outside of Andre the Giant, I think he put wrestling on the map. Outside of Andre the Giant and Vince McMahon, 2/3 of those guys are not good, are going to spend a lot of time in hell. Just put it out there. But I do want to just make mention that yes, there is a way you can separate artist from art and person from character. But
you do that when you talk about R. Kelly, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. This situation, and also in that situation, it's the person that's the jackass.
Mm-hmm.
You can remember Hulk Hogan fondly all you want, but Terry Bollea, asshole.
Yeah,
you're separating the man and the character.
The character was better than the human playing it. There you go.
While we're on the topic, Hulk Hogan, shit wrestler, but I'll just say it.
You call him a shit wrestler?
Yeah, he was a great interview. Not good in the ring.
Really? I mean,
quite possibly the worst finishing move of all time.
Leg drop.
The big leg drop. But I mean, see, it's relative to two-time Hulk Hogan. When I last even looked at any wrestling, was on top of the game back then. We talking like 85 to 87-ish. Nope. He was on top of the game.
George the Animal Steel had the claw, right? Was that somebody had the claw? That might have been worse. I grabbed you right here.
Okay.
And you quit.
Who started the pile driver? Whose move was that?
Was that Paul Orndorff?
I'm asking. I don't remember. Mr. Wonderful.
Maybe.
Could be. I don't know.
You're asking questions I don't have an answer to.
You're too young.
Yeah, but Hulkamania was a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I said, if you want to have a memorial for the passing of Hulk, go right ahead. I'm not gonna stand in the way. You want
to read Claude's comment?
Claude Bishop, this is not a super chat. He just got on the screen by dropping a bomb. Hulk Hogan was, period, bona fide piece of poop, and he used the emoji.
Nice poo emoji, Claude.
Yeah, very poo. Both eyes. They're not even cross-eyed.
So Google AI Tate says that Wild Bill Longson popularized the pile driver in the late 1930s and early 1940s. So that's even before your time.
It's actually before 47's time too. While we're on the topic of people that's going to hell and small D's. Speaking of small D's, is anybody up to
if you got a small Park?
Caught up on what?
South Park.
I saw some replay of it, some glimpses.
Yeah.
Clips, if you would.
Let's just say, if you watched our first hour, I don't think a hymn subscription would help that character.
Man, they dug in on it too. It was a little
He can't do that. That character can't do any digging in on anybody. Shovel's not long enough. But in any case, 47, your president, Donald J. Trump, he says he fixed college sports. You guys are the big college sports guys of the show. I just tune in to watch the big games. I'm a cash, as you would call, casual. This is more so in my wheelhouse. Donald Trump signed an executive order doing some limiting
money.
Yes, that's right. I love the money talk.
Pay's got a PhD in money.
He did. He signed an executive order. He's been threatening to do it. He signed it this week, basically trying to curtail some of this wild west action going on in college sports with the NILs and the pay for play stuff like that. Nick Saban and the rest of these guys have been campaigning, have been lobbying for federal government intervention on this matter. But B, you are very boots to the ground with Hellgate and the rest of the guys up there in the Big Ten. I know you've probably rubbed shoulders with some people who are in the mix, maybe, for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
What's your initial, I guess, thoughts when you hear that the federal government is sticking their nose into college football business?
I mean, very interesting from someone who loves capitalism, right? But outside of the political scope of it, I think he made it worse, because what he did was the executive order stops the third party pay for play. So it doesn't stop third party NIL. It stops third party pay for play. So what they can do is not say by contract, if you come here, we'll give you $8 million to play. It's going to come from this donor or this, we'll use Michigan. I'm a Michigan fan. We'll use Barstool Sports. El Presidente. We'll use him as an example. If he says he's going to pay somebody $4 million to come there, he can't just pay them to come there and play. He's got to pay them for something to do with their name, image, and likeness. Now, if you guys are not aware, Barstool Sports has been selling Bryce Underwood merch and doing things on their website with them. So in that name, image, and likeness, it perfectly fine. So all they're doing is making it, you got to do it. You just have to go down a different path to get to the same place. And it's going to be almost impossible to police this stuff. They've made it really, really hard to police it now. I think they went the opposite way of the way they should go in order to police it. They want to police it. It's got to be regulated contracts, all on the table for everybody to see. That's how I think they should do it.
But isn't that kind of what this executive order does? Even though I want to clarify, executive orders extend to what has a federal overreach, not overreach, but it has federal oversight, right? So executive orders into private industry don't do anything. As you've seen when he had an executive order with DEI, there was a lot of arm twisting to get some companies into compliance with what he wanted done. Some arm twisting and some bribes, allegedly. So Tate, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think that the Big Ten will comply with this executive order?
The Big Ten. I feel like Trump carried the Big Ten. I mean, like if we're looking at a voting map, I think he carried the Big Ten. I mean, I think therefore the Big Ten has to be somewhat beholden to him. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question because I really don't know. I mean, I didn't think some of these other corporations and businesses would just fold and give in. I mean, it seems like people are just trying to get along. They know this guy is not on the up and up. As far as this goes, I think it's just another. Claude said it. Yeah, like Claude said, I agree with Claude with the distraction part. It's just the whole thing we've been talking about, the Commanders versus the Redskins, the Guardians versus the Indians. They was just throwing shit on the wall, man, trying to create distractions to take away from those files that don't exist that go by the name of Epstein. So I don't even know if this is really a thing I mean, it could be, but I don't know that it is.
Even if it is, how do you track it? How do you prove it? How do you? All right, if I'm the
See, Derek,
CEO,
if you got a big beautiful plan, it didn't have to be a plan.
if I'm the CEO of Oracle and I want to give $8 million to Bryce Underwood, if I give him $2 million for 4 different appearances, what is a president going to do? Those guys all make their money doing that. That's how all of them get paid.
This dude go around put his dame on steaks and hotels and didn't put his name on it. She understand better than anybody.
Yeah.
Do you all think there is a discussion about who does this help? B, you said as somebody who loves capitalism, this is a capitalist bill. True or false?
It's over regulation, so false.
The way I see it is that it helps. It would help the school more than it helps the athlete, right? So the way I view capitalism, I view it in a. I don't want to
stay jaded. Stay jaded. Do it.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to put my own personal political beliefs out there. But if I was look at this in a non-capitalist view, I would say this is definitely anti-worker. It's definitely helps the school because it tries to limit the earning power of the proletariat. It is definitely pro-capitalist. It helps strengthen the earning power or the keeping the revenues where the bosses are.
But it doesn't when I'm reading this, it doesn't to me. It just tells me that I got to put it through a different avenue. I'm looking at, listen, and this is going to be a little bit looking to the way I like to do business. I'm looking for, okay, what's the angle I got to work here in order to get what I want done? And the angle is I, instead of putting the money in column A, I got to put it in column B. The hell does it matter?
So you're saying shady accounting practices is what's got to happen now. You got to start doing things a little bit
capitalism,
under the rug.
Baby.
All right. What I alluded to earlier about
it's better to do it that way in NIL than it was the old way when SMU was just showing up with duffel bags.
I missed duffel bag era. Well, what I alluded to earlier with the EO that got rid of DEI, right? It was you had guys that you had Trump and the rest of his federal goons. They were out there basically
verbally
saying we're not going to bullying corporations into doing what they wanted. If let's use Paramount, their merger with Skydance, say, well, we got the FCC. The FCC has to clear this, and you have to take roll back all your DEI, or we're not going to allow you guys to merge, right? So stuff like that. You see what he's done with Harvard and the rest of the Ivy League. Say we're going to cut back funding if you don't do what we need you to do. So to the question I had to you earlier, Tate, about do you think the Big Ten will comply, and you said, well, the Big Ten probably voted with them in November. I think that answers the question. They don't want to stir that hornet's nest, right? They don't want to have any federal funding being threatened because they got to pay these ball players.
That part, I mean, I completely agree. Completely agree. I mean, if it's a thing, they'll comply. But if it's not really a thing, if it's like if he can't end up doing it, because he says a lot of shit that he can't do. You know what I mean? So if he can't end up doing it, it won't be a thing. But if it's something he can really do, it'll be a thing because like the fan base is there and everybody at those state universities and stuff, those schools, I mean, a lot of the governors, not all the governors, a lot of the governors, I guess not Michigan, not Pennsylvania, Ohio, definitely. I mean, Ohio's governor even hired a former Ohio State coach as lieutenant governor Shout out Jim Tressel. You were a good football coach, not such a great politician, but still. Um, yeah, man. I can't keep up with this dude. I'm all over the place, man. I just want him to release the non-existent files. Just release those files that don't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Those files that don't exist, they're not going to get released because they don't exist, Tate. Um,
What files?
what files? What files? Stop being distracted by this made up stuff about files. Other stuff that's made up is the disappearing act that's going on from the NFL Players Association, and this is a strange era in professional sports unions, right? We're going from college players trying to get to a point where they're considered employees and maybe unifying one day. But speaking about the real unions right now, the pro guys, we've talked ad nauseum about what's going on with the NFLPA. Yeah, Don Van Natta undercover some shady accounting practices from the former NFLPA head Howe, which ended up getting him fired. How do you take a car service to a strip club for 8 hours?
Hey, Pay. I don't want to sidetrack and talk about the players, but I feel like Rob got a good question here. You want to take a shot at it?
Let's detour. One question. Rob Lightfoot asks, one of the primary concerns surrounding NIL is how it has blurred the lines between college and professional athletics. Good segue. In other words, college athletics are no longer amateurs. You are right. They're no longer amateurs. They get paid to work. Now just get rid of this this class requirement. We can get all down to business.
Because ultimately it's like a free minor league stomping ground. You can shop there. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, it's what it's always been. People in minor league baseball get paid. People in the G League and the NBA and them guys get paid. I mean, there are minor football leagues, I guess, and they get paid, but that's so they should pay the college player. I agree. I mean, I think it should be regulated, but I don't think it should be stopped.
Wild West, I like it. Our next conversation is going to be pretty heavy. So let's go ahead and take a break real fast, and we'll come back and talk about unions. Yeah, more of that socialist talk. But like I was saying, we're in a strange era for unions. We had the NFLPA. They recently fired their two top officers, the J.C. Treader and Lloyd Howe. Both of them were asleep at the wheel. The MLBPA is being investigated by the feds, along with the NFLPA, who's got two separate investigations going on right now by the federal FBI. WNBA, there are the WNBA Players Association. They opted out of their CBA at the end of last season, and they have until the end of this season to strike up a new deal, or there's going to be a work stoppage. On top of all that, the MLB, Major League Baseball, is headed for a work stoppage as well in 2020 at the end of this season. So, guys, first question before we get all deep into the matter: whose union is more? Can I say fucked? Fucked.
I don't know. You did, though.
Seeing how you already said it, you may as well roll with
it. So Tate, you want paper, rock, scissors for it?
No, you can go first. I mean, we probably may have different.
The
takes.
NFL.
No, I was going to say that. I think,
and I think it's pretty easily, hands down, in my mind. They've always basically had a patsy for years they've had a patsy heading up their union, and now they got a crooked patsy that they had to run out, right? The whole thing of how it got hired, the things they're uncovering now, the collusion they're uncovering, which I think we've all thought was going on at some way, shape, or form with the NFL, and how weak that union seems to have been to let and almost I don't know, enable it to go on is pretty wild. So I'd say the NFL.
Yeah, I think the NFL's the union itself is pretty screwed. The MLB Players Association, they've got a difficult negotiation process going on. As you say, they are the topic of a cap is brought back up to the forehold about that. And as I already spoke about, they are also being investigated by the feds for their dealings with what's the name of that private equity, Redbird Capital. Yeah, so it's been some irregularities with their finances. So they're not out of the wind either. But let's stay with baseball for the moment. Baseball. Have you all been following along about what's the demand here from the players?
Can I say real quick? I think of all the players associations, I think basketball does it best because they actually have an active player that's head of the players association.
I'm not sure of the officers of the players union. I know there's an active player is usually front and center, but I don't know if he's actually the head. I'm gonna just take your word for that on that one.
Well, okay, I mean I'm not wrong about that's being but I didn't realize that he has to then usually the president makes the final decisions. I thought, but
I would have definitely assumed that there's a lawyer at the top of the union because that's the one in the negotiation room. I do not want a basketball player
right
doing the negotiations.
But he has people that works for him. I mean, in the other sports, it's a suit. It's a suit, right? Like who really probably messes around with the owners. Fraternizes with the owners. That's what I'm looking for. Not pontificate. Fraternizes. How about that one?
Shout out to Lloyd Howe. He's what gets me so mad about Lloyd Howe is he didn't want to step down after it got uncovered that he was double dipping. He's got a $3.5 million salary to lead the NFL Players Association, but he's also got a side gig as a consultant with a private equity that is trying to buy an NFL team. Mr. Lloyd Howe, that didn't get you to quit, but them finding out that you spent $700 of union paid dues to go to Tootsie's, that makes you step down. Tootsie's, really, bro? Anyway,
can you
$700 they paid to sit the car to sit out front?
Can you provide context? What's Tootsie's?
The largest gentleman's club in the world.
Where's that? Where's it located?
Florida,
Miami Gardens.
Got you. Tootsie's.
He flew into Fort Lauderdale and drove directly to Tootsie's, which is about a 30-40 minute drive.
Left the bags in the car.
And you said, I'm finna go get it.
You stay right here. I'll be back in 4, 6, 8 hours.
We talked about him last episode. Yeah, he definitely he didn't have to ingest the stuff. He crushed them, snorted those boys, and went in there for 8 and did an 8-hour session in Tootsie's.
So
wow.
I've got the NBPA website up here. The executive director of the NBPA is actually Andre Iguodala.
Yeah.
So the players are different from the executive committee.
Okay.
But then they have Deputy General Counsel Sam Burham, There's an EVP player operations, Morgan Cato. Like there's to Pay's point, there are executive committee and there's players committee.
I know you guys had talked about WNBA on the Know It Alls this past Sunday about what where they're at with their contract demands. If they don't have a new deal, if they don't strike a new deal before the end of season, which will be October, that's after the finals. They are going to do exactly what the NBA did in 2012, which is at the height of league popularity, we are going to have a work stoppage. This is good or bad for the league?
I'd say it's bad. I mean, anytime there's a stoppage in your product, it's bad because the consumers can't get it.
So
it's bad for the league. So that means it's possibly the opposite for the Players Association?
Possibly. And look at all of those leagues, though, there's been baseball stoppages, there's been football stoppages, there's been hockey stoppages, basketball stoppages. They've all bounced back. It's not something you can't bounce back from, but yes, it does maybe take that bounce back, takes a slower progression to keep that momentum going for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, man, I'm all for them getting, a new deal and more money. I think some of the things I've heard players say, and I've stated this, where they want equal revenue sharing to the men might be a little bit too much too soon because the men didn't start off that way. You know what I mean? They've got a 50-year head start to get where they are. But now that I've done some more deep diving, and Tate and I went back and forth with this, with the new, if the numbers are looking like they're going to be a $2.2 billion deal as far as the rights deal for the games
Media
and stuff
deal.
like that. When those things are starting to happen, and it's 5 times more expensive than it was 3 years ago to get an expansion team, then yes, they're going to be, they need to bump that up. It's getting 9% of revenue sharing is not enough. They need to get a bigger piece of that pie. Now, is that 30, 35%? Somewhere in that area is probably where I think it'll end up being. I don't think it's going to be, 50% like the men get.
I don't think the men get 50% anymore. I think the men, after this last work stoppage, thanks, Kobe, the men took a haircut. They were getting 51%. I believe they're now getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 48. But you make an interesting comment. Why can't they do a equal 50-50 BRI split?
Well, they can. It's not that they can't. Okay, they can, but I'm just saying, like, when you start looking at profitability and stuff, like, I would like to see the NBA not putting money into the WNBA as subsidies, and some of those things before it gets to 50-50. Does that mean maybe if I'm the WNBA Players Association, I may want to do a 5-year CBA instead of a 10-year, or I may want to do a hard renegotiation after 5 with the option to up that to 10. So there's different ways of doing that. And I think the owners would be smart to allow that. Like, all right, we're going to have to take a relook at this because the growth from the first 25 years compared to the last 2 is mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. Yeah, it probably, the last 2 years probably exceeds the first 25.
Correct. So maybe that's a thing where we go, hey, we're going to do a 9-year deal and we're going to look at it after year 3 and after year 6, something along those lines. And I think they want everything to grow, right? So they might have to get creative with this one and not just do what most of the leagues do, where they just do a flat 10 years.
I think this last CBA they signed, they got a pay raise that brought them to 9.3% of the BRI split. So what you said about the first 25 years, what were they making then? They don't have a pension. I think they just negotiated maternity leave not too long ago. So they've been the women of yesteryear, the women that the league was built upon. They got shit. At some point, I think the Players Association has to dig in and say, we got to get all of it now. We got to strike while the iron's hot, get it all. 50%, pensions, everything. Because if you don't do it now, you're not going to get it later. Where you at with that, Tate?
I mean, I agree with you. I'd want to see it contractually negotiated right now. So moving forward, so they at least have the framework of what the future looks like. I mean, it could get more. It could get better. I mean, it could grow. It could grow. But at the very least, if you negotiate something now, you know what you have now. I mean, at the end of the day, and B Dirt and I, we were going back and forth, even with Mod, and I appreciate your perspective more than Mod. All Mod was doing was agreeing with B Dirt. He wasn't putting any thought equity into it. But because
Yeah,
I
what
just
he did.
right. No, I just appreciate your perspective on it. Not that his is wrong. Maybe he really does agree with B Dirt verbatim. I don't know, but that's what he did. But at the end of the day, I just think it's unfair for the women to and I get it, and B Dirt's right, and we all know that the league was losing money, the NBA was carrying it, but now in business, now that you're starting to turn a profit, is when you invest more. Now you really go in and lean into your business while it's hot, make it hotter. So that's where I'm at. I mean, like the difference between Cooper Flag getting like 49 or was it 63 million on his rookie deal, being number one pick, and Paige Bueckers, the woman's first overall pick, getting $79,000. The disparity's too much to be.
So even if you, in fairness, even if you raise that, so you raise what you said there, 48% divided by 9.3 equals 5.1, and she got how much? 79,000. You said,
Yeah.
Rookies don't make 79,000.
Paige Bueckers.
What are you talking about?
Rookies, they don't make 79,000.
That's the number one slot for the WNBA.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So number one slot to number one slot. So if you multiply that out, and make it apples to apples by what revenue is actually generated by the WNBA,
probably still getting way less, I'm guessing.
407,000.
Wait, just what you should get.
She should get about 407,740.
Okay, but she's getting 79, which is
408.
Which is a fifth of that.
So yeah, it's 5.16 times to go from 9.3 to 48.
So
Right.
to connect the two, if you were to guess between the Major League Baseball and the WNBA, which one was more likely to have a work stoppage? Who would you think? Who would you take?
I'd take baseball.
Based on their history?
Based on the well, yeah, they've been there before, but based on the fact baseball has to negotiate something different just for the sake of the league and for fans of small market teams to stay involved. With it being no kind of salary cap or nothing like that, teams, we know a lot of teams that are out of it on opening day because the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers and the Cubs and all those guys are spending $1 billion on the team when they can't even field the team for 180 million. So it needs to be some type of salary cap to me for baseball to maintain its parity, therefore maintain its fan base.
Be a floor too.
There should be a floor, yeah. They go together. To me, I agree with
Yeah, they
you.
do.
I like
If
the
you
way
create
the
a you
NFL
create a
does.
cap, the floor is automatically there.
Yeah, I like the way the
I
NFL
definitely
does.
agree with that.
You can't go below 89% any single year. You got average 95% over a 3-year span, 4-year span. I agree with Tate for baseball, but I have different reasoning. I think there's more moving parts to the baseball negotiation where it's strictly just percentage and dollar amounts there for the WNBA. And on top of that, I think the ownership for the WNBA is also, to your point, Pay, seeing this as we need to strike while the iron's hot here. We need to ride this wave with these ladies. And I think they're going to be quicker to negotiate than the Major League Baseball will.
Oh yeah, because Major League Baseball, they still have those union busters in the ownership group. So I can definitely see them playing a little hardball as we've seen in recent years. Just 2020 they had a lot work stoppage, but to that point, I would disagree with you both. I think the WNBA has a very higher. That's terrible phrasing. Has a higher likelihood of striking because
Very high.
the players, except for a handful of players, they make more on their second job playing overseas. So if WA has the work stoppage, okay, I'm gonna go to my other job. I make more. Y'all figure that out. Two, the second league that started this past off season, that was co-founded by Breonna Stewart and Nafisa Collar, MVP, Unrivaled. That's right there for the taking as well. So there are some players. There are a lot of players that would benefit from a work stoppage. Maybe benefit is not the right word, but they would not care as much. Therefore, you wouldn't have scabs. Like we could sit this out and wait for y'all to come meet us and pay us what you owe, as they say. All right, let's talk fun stuff. Baseball is back off after their MLB break. And we're going to take a break too. And on the other side of that break, we're going to talk about the 60-game sprint trade deadline. Who's jockeying for position? Who needs to make a trade more? And we're almost there at the end of the season. Watching live, stay tuned. We'll be right back. So, I don't know if you guys heard, but the trade deadline in Major League Baseball is next week. I believe it's next Thursday. And next Thursday, coincidentally, is the first Thursday football returns. This is the last week that we're going to have to do without football. So, with next Thursday being a big day in sports, I wanted to ask you guys, before football starts, the trade deadline hits, which team has to win that Thursday so they can set themselves up to make a run at the pennant and possibly a World Series? Tate, your Reds or anybody else?
Can you rephrase the question or just say it again? The question again.
Which team needs to win Thursday? Is most desperate to win Thursday. Put it like that. So before they can make a run, go on a run, and possibly be this year's Detroit Tigers or this year's Atlanta Braves or whomever for them to go on a deep run.
Well, I'm going to stick to what I know. I know the Cincinnati Reds. They just won the series. Well, they won the opening game of the series against the Rays. Just now, we need to win this series, at least 2-1. It'd be nice if they get a 3-0 sweep. They got the first one because what we do over the next 5 games, 2 more against the Rays, 3 against the Dodgers, will determine at trade deadline day if we're going to be buyers or sellers. So I think it's really important that the Reds win. They just went to 54-50. It's worked out for them to Cubs lost, I believe, the last 2 games. The Padres lost the last 2 games, who are ahead of them in the wild card. And I think the Reds need to make a move. They need a bat and a closer. A bat, because a lot of talk about bringing Geno Suarez back from the Diamondbacks. They're selling. The Diamondbacks are. They traded. No, the Yankees were interested in Suarez, but they end up trading for the Rockies' third baseman. I forgot his name. Um, but no, because they need a bat behind Ellie. The Reds, Ellie has the most home runs on the Reds. He's like 19 home runs. Suarez is like second
33.
or third. No, he got like 36
Oh yeah, he's in
right
more.
now.
Cubs got to get him.
Yeah, yeah. We need that bat behind Ellie to protect Ellie, and we need a consistent closer. Like they've gone to Pagan. He's decent, but he's not really a closer. He used to be a closer, then was a starter, now back to a closer. We need a heater. We need a heater in there, man. So I think as far as winning on Thursday, the last game before the deadline, I think it's important that the Reds win probably that game and three of the other 4 before that. So we can really see, like, man, we're back in the race. We need to be buyers.
So the Yankees made a move already. Arizona Diamondbacks have signaled that they're selling. Your team, your Detroit Tigers, while you're not facing any immediate danger in your own division, we are trying to, get into that stretch run. 60 games left. We're already at the 100-game mark, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Tigers need to be the most aggressive of all AL teams this coming week?
So, listen, I said I didn't think they were the best team in baseball, even though we had the best record in baseball here for a few weeks. I said we would even out and get back to where, water finds its level, as you always say, Pay. But I did not expect us to crash like this hard. 1-9 in our last 10 games, not looking great. The coldest team in baseball, not the hottest. So they got to do something if they want to make this stretch run a little shot in the arm. And that can start with some arms. The bullpen needs some arms. I think we could get one more bat in the lineup too. Professional hitter. Doesn't have to be somebody that hits a bunch of home runs, but I'd like to get somebody on the team hitting around 300 would be pretty awesome. And I think that would help a lot. So that's I should they be buyers? Should they be all in? Are you talking about buying the most?
Most aggressive.
I mean, if you're doing a bunch of 1-year rentals, go for it. Yeah. But they're not going to take on long contracts and stuff because they got Scooble they've got to sew up and some contracts that they're going to be
paying. Re-sign Javi too.
Yeah, and who knows what that'll take now. I mean, he started off hot, but he's back to being Javi. Line up now. So, yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I'd like to see him add, a couple pitchers and a bat or two, and that's where I'm at.
So, like I said, you all don't have any immediate danger in your division. I think your division is the
7.5
in baseball.
We're 7.5 up right now.
So, who the Twins? They're number 2.
Guardians.
The Royals? The Guardians. Oh yeah, the Guardians are never that bad, right? They're always a 500-ish type team. So yeah, okay, I can see that. The rest of those guys trash. But when I asked the question about most aggressive, you've got to fight off the Mariners. So the Mariners are trying to do big things over there in the AL West, try to go on that run and secure their division. The AL East, you got the Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays. They're all neck and neck, so they all got to beat each other up. For the most, who can get better the quickest this week. So the question I was at, and don't forget the Rays. The Rays are still out there too. they might be a trade candidate. They might not. You know, the way this expanded wild card, it makes everything a little bit less clear when you get around this parts. But yeah, but the point I was getting at is that you got to fight off a lot of other teams if you want to make your team better.
I agree with you. I think part of my answer and not getting overly aggressive with it, Mr. I is not walking back through that door. Chris Ilitch, is not his father. Mike Ilitch was a different beast. Mike Ilitch would have pulled the checkbook out and pulled everybody in he could get. I don't expect Chris to do that. So if we get 3 or 4 players that can help the cause, I'd be ecstatically happy about it.
I feel that. So for me, I think in all of baseball, I think the Cubs need to be the most aggressive. There's no team they should not lose any trade. Eugenio Suarez, power bat for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has to be a Cub by the end of this. In the next 7 days, he needs to be a Cub. Can't do it. Rob Lightfoot in the comments, struggling offense and the entire bullpen are responsible for most of the recent losses. But in this case, the Tigers look sloppy for the first time in a long time. It's a long season. A lot of games. All the good teams are going to have bad stretches. All the bad teams are going to have good stretches. The White Sox are hot right now. The Marlins look hot. The Marlins are probably one of the best NL teams of the last, 6 weeks? And they're still trash. The Dodgers, you think the Dodgers are the best team in the major leagues. They've been horrible the last 3 weeks.
There's only 2 teams that have more wins than them, and that is 1 apiece, and they're below 500 in the last 10. They're 4-6.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. Everybody's going to go through their ups and their downs. There's ebbs and flows in 162 games.
And when you start talking about playoff baseball too, you start talking about condensing down to 4 pitchers, starting pitchers. You start talking about the way those lineups look. It's a little bit different ball game. It's not as big a difference as like playoff hockey to say, but it is a little bit different when you can start getting into 3 pitcher rotations if need be. And if you have 2 aces on your squad, things look nice.
Yeah, I agree, but you got to get there first. So, like I said, the Cubs, they have a very robust minor league system. This is a win now season for them. Their president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, he's in the last year of his deal. He traded a very high prospect to get Kyle Tucker, who they have not re-signed. So if you push the chips in early, then you gotta keep pushing them in now.
I think can I comment because I'm just interjecting what you're saying. I heard the Cubs are a candidate for Suarez, like they're one of the potential buyers. But I think the Reds have the upper hand because what the Diamondback wants is young, controllable pitching, and Cincinnati has a surplus of young pitching. I mean, so I think because I don't know what prospects you have, but I know Cincinnati probably has the better pitching prospects, and that's what they just got from. They traded Josh Naylor to who they traded him to. They got 2 pitching prospects. They want to load up with pitching prospects. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they can have Ben Brown. the Cubs got a young pitcher. A lot of heat on his pitches. They can have it too. Unfortunately for us, when we kept putting Ben Brown out there, the heat on his pitches kept going into the stands. But yeah, so like I said, the Cubs got they have a great farm system. None of those guys are helping the Cubs right now. This is a win now situation. We cannot let Kyle Tucker out the door. We cannot let this opportunity where I already said Dodgers are down right now. We don't have to worry about the Braves. The only team that's really like challenging the Cubs is the team in our division, the Brewers. So we got to beat them. The Brewers are not going to outspend the Cubs. And if you allow them to outspend the Cubs, then the season's a wash at that point anyway.
It's that part of what I said about baseball. It's like it's not a fair playing ground. The Cubs have way more money than the Brewers have. If there was a salary cap, it'd take some actual creativity to see how we're going to get a deal done other than just open up your big pocketbook. But I digress.
Cubs has had a lot of pitching injury this season, and it seems like to me, if the last two series are indication, it's starting to catch up with them. We can't keep having bullpen games. Let's go out there and get an arm, and we need a consistent bat that can hit left-hand pitching. Hopefully, he plays third base. But all right, to end the show, possibly the last time we do this, because now we're back in the football swing of things. Let's have a top 5 list, guys. A list off, if you will, to commemorate the unofficial start of the NFL season. Let's get a top 5 list of sneaky, under the radar MVP candidates. You guys ready?
I want to know the rules. How sneaky do I have to be? Can I say Joe Burrow?
Who is he sneaking past, B? If you can answer that, he can fit the list.
Well, he's going to sneak past 3 other quarterbacks in the AFC.
Okay. All right. It's your list. It's your list.
All right.
All right.
I'll stick to the damn rules. Whatever.
Let's do this round robin style. Tate, you go first. B, and I'm going to call on B next, and then I'll come with my 5. Tate, number 5. Who's your number 5 top sneaky MVP select pick for the 2025 season?
Baker Mayfield.
Woo!
That's a good list. That's a good list. Baker Mayfield.
My 5th is actually going to go in. I'm going to go in order of longest odds on DraftKings.
See, man, this is that pay dirt.
My farthest one out, number 5, Bijan Robinson. Plus 10.
Now, gentlemen, Baker Mayfield, well, he almost threw for 40 touchdowns last year. And Bijan Robinson, running back. I don't know. I mean, Baker, you don't think of Baker as an MVP, but I like that. I like both of them as sneaky MVP plays. And you know, to get into, I don't know if I can actually match that. My number 5 is actually, is a wide receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Ooh.
Now, he's probably the best player that's been mentioned so far, but wide receiver, MVP, come on, give me a break.
That's the oh boy.
But I think sneaky. I mean, if they do what they're supposed to do in Detroit, it would probably be on the back of the wide receiver group. Tate, coming right back around to you. Number 4, sneakiest MVP for this coming season.
Michael Penix Jr.
Oh, I mentioned him on Pay Dirt too. I like that pick.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
He's going to have the reins to a very talented offense. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Very talented offense, if you say so. B, what say you?
Number 4, plus 3,500 for those of you who would like to know. Quarterback, Rams, Matt Stafford.
I was going to say him if I didn't say Michael Penix. But see, now, it seems like, and I'm trying to understand the exercise, because it seems like Matt Stafford would be, so as we go higher up, the players should get better, right? No, they should get worse.
No, they should get better.
Their odds should get better to win it as you go up.
Right. So then I would switch around Penix and Baker Mayfield if I could do that. Now I understand. Same guys, but just flip them around.
But they're close. They're not hugely far apart.
I like Baker Mayfield. I like that's a good pull. Me, I got Bo Nix at number 4.
Okay.
A lot of hype. Hype on Denver.
That should be your number 1. But okay.
Wait a minute. I've got there's a lot of hype in those guys in Houston. So Bo Nix might sneak, he was sneak underneath the radar
But
there. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype
Bo
on the
Nix is in
other side of the
Denver.
ball.
Bo Nix is
That's
in
what I'm
Denver.
saying. What did I
There's
say?
a lot of hype in
Baltimore?
those guys in Denver. Or
Yeah,
Houston.
Bo
I
Nix
mean,
is in Denver.
You said Houston. You said
My,
Houston.
my bad, Houston. I'm giving away the
Which
rest of my
which
list.
made me think it's CJ Stroud. But
Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to him.
Hey, Tate, did you get to watch Pay Dirt?
I didn't get to watch it.
I'll give you a little nugget. You mentioned CJ Stroud. His over for touchdown passes for the year is 21.5. You're welcome.
Oh, book that. I mean,
you're welcome.
Can I send you some money? You make a bet for me?
You can't bet in Maryland?
I don't know.
Well,
I've looked.
That's a tough question. Number 3, Tate.
My number 3, because and I'm getting better. I probably should have said this one first, but I'm gonna say my number 3 as we're escalating up the scale, and I'm gonna be a homer on this one. But he's done it 4 times already, right? Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Damn it.
Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Damn you to hell. That's actually my number 3 as well. He's actually on my list. just because, you know, if they're able to get some sneaky mojo going, I can see them actually not giving the praise where it belongs. Probably TJ Watt or somebody else on that team who's actually doing some real work and just giving it to A-Rod. I can foresee that. B, number 3. Sneaky
so my
MVP.
number 3, and I'm going to apologize now because I'm going to be a little bit out of order with some odds coming up, but you'll see why. Because I wanted to put these two guys side by side. My number 3 is Jared Goff at plus 3,000. So I'm taking both the quarterbacks that were traded for each other. Let's go.
Yeah, nice.
I think if the Lions come in and they lose an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and they can still maybe get to the NFC Championship game or better, and he has a really good year, I think outside chance he can get it. He's got a lot of weapons too.
Okay. I mean, I like the argument. It's not going to happen because these are all long shots. Tate. Now, we're in the top 2 now. Top 2. All long shots, but these are better arguments. That's why they get better as we go on. Number 2, Tate. Who's on your list?
Give me Brock Purdy.
Huh. I did not think about Brock.
I did. I think he's way overrated on this list too. I think he's only like plus 900 or something wild. I was like, that's got to be a typo.
We talked about that on Pay Dirt. Everybody should watch Pay Dirt. While we're talking about it.
A lot of knowledge going on over there.
Mm-hmm. What about your number 2, B?
My number 2 could easily be down the list farther, only because not a quarterback. At plus 5,000, if anybody in his core gets injured and he stays healthy, booking for 2,000 yards, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, that would be my number 1.
Wait. Wait a second.
Saquon Barkley's plus 5,000.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to spin the block on this one because my number 2 is actually Saquon Barkley's quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now, again, these are all long shots. None of these have any chance in hell of winning us MVP. And the reason why I got Jalen Hurts at number 2 is because if there's an MVP to be given out to a Philadelphia Eagle, it's going to the running back. It ain't going to Jalen Hurts.
So Jalen Hurts is plus 1,700. So he's got the 6th best odds.
You should definitely punt because it's not happening. Now, best long shot, gentlemen. Number 1, I think Tate, you already gave yours away.
I did when I said what?
I thought didn't you say Saquon was number 1 on your list?
Oh yeah, but I got to come up with another one now.
Okay, come on with another one. Let's.
They're
gonna move. Come on.
I'm going to go with B Dirt took my running back. I think all running backs are long shots. but because B Dirt took Saquon, I'm going to go. I'm going to go receiver, and I'm going to say who I've used the best receiver in the NFL, who plays with a top three quarterback. We'll take B Dirt's boy and say Jamar Chase.
It's not a bad look.
Plus 15,000.
It's not a bad one. Not bad.
If he repeats the year he had last year, then Joe Burrow will repeat, then he'll fucking win it. So I kind of a catch-22 there.
This would be all by really good problems for me to have, Tate. All right, my number one at plus 1,800. I like some new weapons for him. Second year with this coach and coordinator. Give me Justin.
He's taking your boy. Oh, I was gonna say that, but I should have went with the better eye because it was supposed to get better as we went up. I should have said Jamar Chase like earlier if I was gonna say it. Okay, I got it.
Me, my number one, Caleb Williams. Listen, fellas, the Bears are gonna be improved. There's gonna be some talk about. There's gonna be some national talk about the Bears. Do I think they're gonna be improved enough to get into that actual MVP discussion? Maybe not so, but just outside the periphery, you're gonna see my boy hanging out there. He's gonna be hanging out with his flashy nails and 40 touchdowns. My boy Caleb Williams, number one.
Right now, he's got Ben Johnson pulling his hair out.
Good. Whip him into shape.
Okay.
In any case, so as B alluded to, there is Ben Johnson's got Caleb pulling his hair out. He's got a lot of stuff going on in training camp. And if you want to know why Ben Johnson got Caleb pulling his hair out, you should definitely check out the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast. That's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Anywhere you get pods, you will find our Bear Claws episodes, Bulletin Board episodes, and Pay Dirt for those in the comments who say they cannot find it. It is available on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel stream that is located on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. We are circling the block. Trade deadline for MLB and training camp news all week long. Check it out. B, where else can they find Pay Dirt and anything else going on with Bengals? Bengals news.
Running Through the Jungle had a little bit of a summer break, a little hiatus, if you would, mostly because your boy's not great with computers. That said, we are back fully operational, and Running Through the Jungle is on Thursdays now. Once the season comes, we'll switch back to Wednesdays. Pay Dirt is there also. We're on the YouTube channel, Running Through the Jungle, the Cincinnati Bengals podcast, on anywhere you get your podcast. Just as Pay said, Spotify is my favorite personally, but it is what it is. Not an Apple guy. Anywhere you get them, though, they're there. And we've got some new stuff coming for you guys. We're going to be doing more of the Strange Stuff crossovers into the season. We got a little bit better of an avenue to start getting those recorded. We've got special guests coming on and interviews, some pretty cool stuff. Also, gentlemen, I'm gonna lay this little hint out there a little bit, but I'm working right now on having an ex-Major League Baseball player coming in for the stretch runs for us on our show to do a couple podcasts with us on overtime. So could be fun.
And Tate, Know It All, Steel Curtain Network. I know everybody mostly watching this show live. They know where to find you, but anybody want to watch this show later or in audio format, help them know what's going on in your neck of the woods this coming week.
This coming week, we have the Know It Alls on Sunday. We have a special guest going to join us. One of the top high school basketball players in the country will be one of our guests this Sunday. So we'll talk about that. And then on Monday, Pay, and you can help me now by telling me who's hosting, who's hosting the Central Division Showdown, our NBA show, where we talk about the Central Division. And right now, since there's no games going on, really talk about the NBA in general. So that's on Monday nights. Who's hosting, Pay?
I believe we're taking a little bit of a summer break, are we not? But if we're not, then that will be the Detroit guys who are hosting.
Yeah, you did it last week. I asked June about that, and he said we didn't last year. I said, well, last year football season we weren't doing this, but I think maybe they were still doing their post game podcast. But we'll talk about that in the Slack channel. But if that is Monday, you can find out on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan, as well as the Bleachers and Speakers Detroit Pistons. Well, that's actually the Detroit Lions, but on that channel, Bleachers Speaker channel, the post game podcast guys, and the Know It Alls channel. Wednesday, Big G and myself and Shannon Triple G will be back with Pump Your Brakes on the Steel Curtain Network. And Friday, we'll be back here again. On all the channels we aforementioned, you can find the homies and overtime. So, it's back to the grass as far as football goes. I mean, that's our wheelhouse for the most part. We know a little bit about everything, hence know-it-alls. But we'll get back to football on a regular basis, and you guys tune in to get all your football.
Slack's a thing?
Yeah, Slack's a thing.
About that.
But
they had their best year ever last year.
Slack.com.
Slack did? Really? Who knows that?
Yeah, they did. Look it up.
Look it up.
No, I'm just saying who knows that? Who cares to know that? But yeah, good information. But no, man. Also, I want to say, and you guys know, B Dirt, you'll be back. We're going to have on the Know It All channel. It's always fun. We're going to have our fantasy football draft. And what are you looking at like that, B Dirt? You worried about the draft? August the 31st. See, somebody put in the live chat about the college football games that evening. I think Virginia and somebody and Notre Dame plays Virginia Tech or something like that. Nobody cares. We'll have them on in the background, but we're doing our fantasy draft. The games are on Saturday. When you believe that Saturday, you get LSU and Clemson, and you get Texas and Ohio State. B Dirt, I know you'll be in Michigan running over some little small Texas team, right?
New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah, okay. Down by Texas. Yeah. So, Saturday is the day for college football opening weekend. But yeah, that's gonna be fun. I changed the division, guys. So to make it fun, we got a podcast division. So we're all in the same division. Pay, B Dirt, myself.
Weren't we always in the same division?
No, like B Dirt last year was in the division with some of the other people. Like the defending champ before you, Emmett was the champ. With B Dirt was in that division with champions. So yeah, this year we're gonna be so we'll all see each other twice on the fantasy football gridiron. So the draft will be fun. We always have fun. Goes really fast. We got like 45 seconds between picks, and towards you get to the end,
make it 30. Make it 30.
Make it 30.
I just need to make sure that my number one draft choice doesn't get hurt this year. That's what I really. That's a tough one to.
You need to make sure you listen to Pay Dirt. I let you know who to stay away from. Don't go against my advice. I know I'm not the greatest fantasy football player in the world, but I do be having some good advice. Might want to check it
out. Yeah, that's what's going on, man. For as far as this neck of the woods.
All right, everyone, that's time. Thank you for showing up and showing out for us in the comments, and we will see you again next Friday. Stay safe, stay cool, and if you go watch a good movie, don't throw popcorn and chicken jockey all over the place. Peace.
Let's go.
Mamba out.